Duterte. All right, we got some new Duterte for you over here at the Daily Dope Show, where we constantly stay on this guy's ass because you got to, man. This is crazy shit going on. This time I'm ripping RB Times. IB Times, great publication, always on point, always exposing all kinds of shit that just sucks. Now we're reading three different articles, maybe four, from three different writers. Pavitra Dwibhajayam. I murder names. I'm sorry, guys. Ramo Patel and Nandini Krishnamurthy. Thank me later if I got it right, but I doubt it. Anyway, Defiant Duterte. I throw a lot of loose things around here and there in videos, and I might not always have my facts on point because I can't have all the copy like as good as I do this all by myself. I don't have writers. I don't edit too much. I just print the copy out, read it a few times, maybe cross some things out, maybe add some things, some notes that I know, some other facts, maybe look up some things, throw it in there. But that doesn't prepare you for when you're going through something and you're like, oh, damn, but bam, I need a fact, and I don't got it because I need to make a point, and I have the fact is here, but I don't know the exact numbers and this and that. So I'll just generalize and say we do this or we do that, and this is the thing. I've threw it out there that we give the Philippines aid. I don't know what I said the first time, but I meant that we give the Philippines aid. And it's true. Even after knowing Duterte got elected and all that, yeah. In 2012, it was 19 million. In 2015, it was 50 million. Currently, we give them 79 million. Now, Duterte just came in June, started killing people and stuff like that. Did we know that that was going to happen beforehand? Before the ramp up of aid, which is military aid, and there's always this excuse that there's Al-Qaeda in the region or this and that, and there's always that. So that's why we have to have military aid there or whatever. It's worth looking into. I ain't got the answers for that here, unfortunately, but I'm going to say that it's a little suspicious that the aid ramp-up level is, approaching doubling in 2 years. And I looked around, and it looks like that seems to be the trend. Like there was a dip where Philippine aid was just about dropped right off the map, and then it started going back up. And we couldn't have seen Duterte coming, perhaps, but you've seen him running for president, and there's a lot of rhetoric going on back then about what are we going to do about this guy if he becomes president? And now he's president, and it doesn't seem like we even mention it. And when Obama tried to maybe criticize it by having a meeting or doing whatever, Duterte called him out on his drug war with its extrajudicial killings. Alright, I'm having trouble with this, guys, because I just did a bunch of other reports, and this is a long one, so I'm just kind of going in like, oh, exhausted. I just can't do any more of these stories about this disgusting person. I mean, maybe because I read about this guy so much, Donald Trump doesn't even really... I look at Donald Trump, and when he spews his rhetoric, no matter how hateful or whatever it is, it just sounds like some little kid on a playground compared to this guy at the worst. So anyway, we're supposed to have some joint military operations. The Philippines has announced its decision to hold a large-scale combat exercises with U.S. forces in October. Approximately 1,400 American personnel and 500 Filipino Marines will take part in the drills, which will involve amphibious landing and live fire exercises at the Northern Gunnery Range in the U.S. Filipino Army base, wherever that is, officials said on Thursday. Duterte has soured relations with the U.S. after criticizing America's security policies. Duterte also said that he would not allow his forces to patrol the disputed South China Sea along with American personnel. According to reports, Manila is wary of upsetting China, as there is always a threat of an armed conflict in the region. On Thursday, Duterte said he wanted American troops out of southern Philippines, as minority Muslims in the region resented the presence of U.S. forces. That's the whole reason we're there, I think, is to make sure that the Al-Qaeda doesn't get out of control. He stated that he would chart a foreign policy that would give Manila more independence so that it does not have to rely on U.S. However, he said he will not revoke the Mutual Defense Treaty and was committed over maintaining a healthy association with the country. Under Duterte's predecessor, Manila had locked horns with Beijing over long-standing territorial disputes in the South China Sea. Some experts believe Duterte has been soft on China, unlike his verbal rebukes and incendiary remarks against the U.S., UN, or the EU. In a recent speech, the 71-year-old has said that he would travel to China this year and told Chinese businessmen that they would receive him often, hinting that he was looking at enhancing trade ties with the Asian giant. Now remember, Duterte's rhetoric about drug dealers is that they all work for China and that even the dime bag dealers' money somehow makes its way back up the ladder to the Chinese. But he's the one doing all this business shit with China because he loves to, appease the bigger power. He's maintained warm relations with Japan as well. Tokyo has agreed to provide Manila with 10 coastal vessels to boost its maritime security efforts. I mean, all these countries keep giving them aid. America, China, Japan, anybody else. The list is, we got the World Bank, the Global Fund, Australia, the EU. Fuck you, EU. Give me money. Canada, Korea, you name it. Everybody gives them money. No one said, hey, whoa, we're going to stop giving you money if you keep doing this shit. Nobody. Rodrigo Duterte extended his invite to the United Nations and EU officials to come to the Philippines. He invited them to come to the Philippines to probe extrajudicial killings in his country. His offer was followed by another expletive-laden rant against the EU on Thursday. The outspoken leader's comment followed a resolution from the European Parliament last week which urged him to stop the current wave of extrajudicial killings and executions. Since Duterte came to power, more than, let's just say almost 4,000 people have been killed as part of this war on drugs. Quote, I'm inviting the United Nations, Ban Ki, I don't know the name of that fool, Ban Ki-moon, Ban Ki-sun, I'm inviting the EU, send the best lawyer of your town, and even the rapporteurs, go to the Philippines, Duterte was quoted saying, I will write them a letter and invite them to an investigation, he said in a speech at the inauguration of a power plant in Misamis Oriental, located in northern Mindanao region. The president did, however, attach strings to the offer. Quote, in keeping with the time-honored principle of the right to be heard, as they ask me questions, I will ask them questions. Revealing his line of questioning, the former mayor of Davao City added, my first question to the reporter, I killed thousands? What was the name of the first victim? What happened? What was the reason? How was it done? What time was it? The European Parliament said that while drug trafficking and abuse remains a serious national and international concern, it is concerned by the extraordinary high numbers killed during police operations in the context of the international anti-crime and anti-drug campaign. Members of the European Parliament, MEPs, urged the President to launch an investigation into the spate of deaths. Recently, the EU had urged the Philippines to put an end to the killings of those involved in the drug trade, to which Duterte, in a speech of his hometown in Davao, quote, "I have read the condemnation of the European Union. I'm telling them, fuck you." In combination of Filipino and English, the president said on Tuesday, 20th of September, that the EU is trying to atone for its sins and guilt feelings for occupying other countries in the past. He added, "I repeat, fuck you," raised his right hand and gave the middle finger, which elicited applause from the audience as he said, "Fuck you, EU." Now, what is he talking about there? He's talking about the EU is trying to atone for its sins and guilt feelings for occupying other countries in the past. Yeah. The EU, otherwise known as the UK, the Kingdom of the Queen, the whole world, the empire before America took over. Yeah, the EU, man, the last grapplings of the empire to try to hold it all together, which is the big banksters' way of trying to say that they still have power because they're connecting all these countries together through central banking. I hate Duterte, and I don't like most of his rhetoric, but he might be right on that one. The EU is just fuck you, Did you ever hear of the Opium Wars? Look it up. Tell me about the British Empire and how awesome they were for human rights. Alright, well, EU lawmakers said in a 5-page resolution, Duterte repeatedly urged law enforcement agencies and the public to kill suspected drug traffickers who did not surrender, as well as drug users. Duterte publicly stated he would not pursue law enforcement officers and citizens who killed drug dealers who resisted arrest. That's bad shit. They're right there. He's got to go. In September, he directed profanities at UN Secretary Ban Ki-moon and U.S. President Barack Obama after expressed concern over a rising number of deaths from his war on drugs. He later apologized for calling Obama a son of a whore, which he was calling him in criticism of Obama's own drug war. He was like, Obama, we could sit down and talk about this. We really could. And you could be like, man, why all the extrajudicial killings in your drug war? And all Duterte would have to say is, why about, what do you mean? What about yours? So you gotta admit that no matter how bad this sounds and how bad it is, he's got 91% approval rating for what's going on right now within his citizenry. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Then another thing to say is that what he's saying to the people that he's inviting in to investigate these extrajudicial killings, he's saying, is the blood actually on my hands? And I think I missed a quote in there. Maybe it might have been in a different article, but one of the things they were saying was, he was basically saying, what are you going to tell me? That I went after a criminal? I went after a drug dealer, blah, 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 or even a drug addict. Like, he's trying to say it's okay because these people are criminals or whatever. He likes to stick to old principles and philosophies, but, two wrongs don't make a right, I guess, is the only one I can think of there. But you can't do that. You can't be like, that would be like Obama saying, hey, What's up with these people you're killing for the hell of it? Well, he's just saying, well, hey, what are you telling me that I'm doing something for the hell of it when these people are deplorable, blah, blah, blah. I mean, I can't really, you know, I can't defend Duterte. I just want this shit to stop because it's like, it's almost like, I don't know how to word this, but he's like giving the world the chance to have real dialogue about this. He's like, hey, look, you see what prohibition leads to? This is what prohibition's end result is the state literally sanctioning the mass murder of anybody involved in the drug trade. Period. It's done. It's over. Fuck it. We ain't done. We're not working with anybody anymore. Did you see him like allocate a bunch of money for new treatment facilities and prisons? No. So you have almost 1 million people right now churning themselves in, and there's nowhere for them to go except for back home, and we'll keep tabs on you whether or not you use drugs anymore or not. This is a genocide rolling out. It's a slow rollout. There's going to be a peak out where right now it's kind of at like 30 plus a day, slow paced murders. It's kind of slow paced. There's going to be something that happens. There's going to be some major actions that happen where a lot of people are going to die. And it's going to, I'm going to have to do another goddamn video clip. Please remember, people, no matter how bad drugs are, no matter how bad they are, nothing could possibly be worse than dying for them. I mean, we're already in America, one of the places in the worst places in the world for judicial death, which means not literally you're getting a death penalty, but you go to court and you have your so-called fair trial, and then you get this crazy, like, football score looking number, like 48 years or 25 years or 50 years. Basketball score numbers. Like, are you kidding, man? For drug possession, drug dealing, blah, 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 blah. I hear right-wingers say it all the time. Oh, no one's in prison for possessing drugs. Actually, they are, man. Actually, there is people in prison for possession. Actually, nonviolent drug offenders are 50% of the incarcerated people in the federal prison system. Actually, there is a story to be told about entire communities that are ruined, not just because of drugs. It's not the drugs that have ruined the community. It's the drug laws that took away the fathers, that had the mothers doing prostitution. It had kids killing each other. That's because of the prohibition, not the drugs themselves. And whenever we can get everybody to understand that, then I think we can take a different approach to this epidemic, you know. And I mean, meanwhile, like I report on time and time again, you have the pharmaceutical companies that are the dealers in death, making billions of dollars off of everybody's misery. They don't want anything but more of their pills on the market. They want bottom line. They want to make money. They don't give a fuck about the stories, man. They don't care about the stories. It's all profit. That's all they care about. And that's legal drugs. In the Philippines, you know, we'll see what happens. We're going to keep on this story. Subscribe so you can keep up to date with it. I hope to bring some good news to this story soon because it's really hard to keep doing these reports. I can't ignore it though, and I won't let anybody that follows this channel or knows me ignore it either.